Hey, welcome. I'm Tom Sinclair, and you have made it to Streaming Idiots. Yes, you have. We are live every Wednesday afternoon at 3 o'clock Eastern here at easternshorebroadcasting.com. And, over here. And I would remind you, if you're watching on YouTube directly, Facebook, Twitter, or Periscope, and you want to come in and get in on the chat, we've got 4 or 5 dozen folks in chat right now, and we'd love to have you do that. Go to easternshorebroadcasting.com and click Watch Live, and you can get in on the chat, too. It'll be a lot of fun. I'm so excited about my guest today. Dan Miall from Bird Dog down in Australia is in the green room, as they say, warming up, and we're going to get to Dan in just a second. If you've got questions about Bird Dog, what is Bird Dog? Well, we'll get into that too. It's NDI's best friend. How about that? It's NDI's best friend. So by all means, go to the chat and check it out there, and then hang out and get ready for a great show. And oh, by the way, if you have to leave early, you can come back later to Periscope, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and watch the rest of the show. But you want to make sure, excuse me, I need some lemonade here. Sorry about that, real quick. Oh, lemonade is the best. Lemonade is almost as good as Dum Dums. Thank you, Ken. No, if you get interrupted and you miss the show and you say, oh, the show's probably over, come back, because we may be in the post show. And sometimes the post show is even better than the show. So, and if you're watching the show, stick around for the post show. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, here we go. Streaming Idiots is a great little, of course, it's a great little show. We are entering our 6th year of weekly streaming. And it's really been excited. I'm so excited about our Facebook group right down there, facebook.com/groups/streaming idiots. We hit 900 members this week. Yay, 900. And it is the best group I've ever been a part of. There's always something going on. I mean, 24/7. It's addictive, with folks showing what they're doing with their streaming setups, asking questions. People are posting links to new products, and they're discussing them. It's really active. If you're into streaming, you want to join the Streaming Idiots Facebook group. It definitely, or at least come take a look at it. I think you'll enjoy it. I think you'll be a member. So it's, Udall's here. I see. Welcome, Udall. Glad to have you. And today, before we get to Dan, a couple of notes. Number one is we have, for those of you that are watching live today, if you send me an email today, tom@easternshorebroadcasting.com, today, Wednesday, August 30th, August 30th, I will send you a coupon good for a special deal. I can't tell you what the deal is because I've signed a contract saying I can't advertise lower than the mandatory advertised price, or whatever the MAP stands for. But I've got the X Keys XK24 on a one day today only deal. So if you've been meaning to buy an X Keys XK24, you want to shoot me an email, tom@easternshorebroadcasting.com, and I will send you a coupon code good for the purchase of the X Keys, only on our website, easternshorebroadcasting.com. So if you've been waiting, now's your time. Today's the day, as they say. Today's the day. Today this show is just a giant infomercial. Yes, it is. I confess, but we're hoping that it's an infomercial. Okay, the small mercial and the big info. Couple of pieces of info that I found when Dan and I were actually working on our vMix call last night, which was, of course, was Wednesday morning for him and Tuesday evening for me. Isn't that crazy? Anyway, we weren't able to connect at 1080p through vMix to vMix call. And I sent an email to Martin Sinclair, the developer of vMix. I said, Martin, is this a bug? What's going on? And he said, well, this is the way it works. If you can't get a stable connection, if there's not enough internet uplink on the client side, not the host side, which is me, but if you don't have a solid 4 megabits per second upload link, then it will simply show one frame And then when you go to the statistics in vMix Call, it'll say that no frames are being sent. And sure enough, when we dropped it back to 720p, it worked just fine, but it wouldn't support 1080. So if you're doing a vMix to vMix call to vMix call, and you're suffering with this all of a sudden freeze frame, that means that whatever bandwidth you're using or your guest is using is not sufficient. And they're going to need to drop back. It won't, if it's vMix to vMix, it won't drop back automatically. If you're using a browser on one end, yeah, the browser will drop you back. Also to note that vMix just released yesterday a new beta to vMix 20, vMix 20.0.0.24. And the two things that were of note to me, well, let me bring this in because really this is from the vMix forum. And you see that the vMix 2X preview update has been posted. That link will get you the new beta if you're interested, or you can go to the vMix forum, which is forums.vmix.com, and go to the general section. You'll see the links there. But the top and the bottom of those features are the ones that I thought were the most important, and then there's a hint buried in there. The top one says that it's added support for the X-Keys XK 68 jog shuttle controller. Well, that's pretty important because there are a lot of folks out there that would like to use that for instant replay. And then the last one down at the bottom is that he's fixed a couple of bugs in the vMix call that may have caused problems during very long calls, 6 hours or more. So I thought that would be interesting to know on that. But buried in there is one that says 4K streaming presets added. Now, that's so small that you almost wouldn't notice it. 4K streaming presets added. That is going to be the big thing. Now, is that going to be a big thing in vMix 24, vMix 2X so far as a major feature? No. But I think we're going to see vMix become more and more 4K oriented now that YouTube is becoming more and more 4K oriented, with a lot of YouTube video producers uploading 4K video. vMix is on the bleeding edge. Those guys down there, they bleed on a regular basis. You know, they're knocking their heads on the wall, against the wall, sometimes trying to figure out things that other people are watching and waiting to see how vMix did it so that they can implement it later, like NDI or vMix Call or something like that. So keep your eye out. vMix 20 is due out next month. We'll see. So that's going to be a really interesting thing. Okay, well, now enough of that. Let's set the stage here. About a year and 4 months ago, I was at NAB in Las Vegas, where NDI was announced, and where, of course, vMix announced vMix 17, which had NDI in it, which was just groundbreaking, I thought. And there was also rumors on the floor at NAB that there was this new creature out there that would take a camera video and would convert it to NDI. I mean, this is something they could mount right on the camera. And everybody was looking around and, you know, did anybody have one? Could anybody find one? You know, when were they shipping? There was all this buzz, and the buzz has continued. And you know, long story short, they're shipping. they're here. We've got one. And I reached out to the custodian at Bird Dog TV, to the janitor, and he wasn't available. So he sent me his assistant, Dan Miall, from Bird Dog, and I tease Dan because he's just so teasable. Anyway, so Dan is going to come on, but I thought before we did, we would run this little clip and let you see what Bird Dog has to say about Bird Dog. So we'll bring Dan in right after this. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That was great. Welcome, Dan.
There we
Glad
are.
to have you. All right. All
Glad to be
right.
here, Tom.
What a cool piece of
NDI
video.
Island, I love it.
So it's like 5:15 in the morning there in Australia.
It certainly is, and I know every minute of that 15 minutes past five.
Well, thank you so much for getting up so early in the morning and coming on the show. We've got a great audience. We got about 50 in the chat room, another couple of dozen watching on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube directly. And oh, by the way, guys, if you want to get in on the chat, come to easternshorebroadcasting.com, click Watch Live, and you can see the chat too. But Dan, enough about that. You know, this guy is a story right here. This guy is a story. There is so much in this story. I can't wait to hear it all, or at least the condensed version of it. But you got to start. Let's start at the beginning, because we always start at the beginning on this show. There was a time in your life that you did not know about live streaming, and then a minute later you did. Tell me about that time for you.
You know what? I've been involved with live streaming for a really long time, longer than I probably care to admit. My first job out of school, which was a couple of decades ago, was when video cards first started coming out with computers. So it was when we could finally capture video into a computer. So from that moment onwards, really, streaming was kind of a dream that was going to happen at some point. And over that time, internet got better and the platforms like YouTube came up, and there was a whole bunch of things that kind of came along. But really, it was heading that way really from the start of my career. The moment I got into real work was with computers doing video production. So the first one could capture like 320 by 240 pixels. It was tiny, and it took 3 days to set up. But hey, it's come a long way. We've got the little BirdDog boxes now. So.
Yeah, the little
Yeah.
bird dog boxes. Well, when did the idea for this come about? You woke up one day and you
So
said, "I'm going to spend millions of dollars and develop something that fits in the palm of your hand."
yeah, so really with BirdDog, what came up with that is we were really lucky to hear about NDI quite early on. So as soon as we heard about it, it's like, wow, this is a great new format. It really could change the way production's done. But as we started to think about how that would work, you could run it from a computer to another computer. You could go from a rack to another rack. But really, it would make a whole lot more sense if you get it from the camera. The advantage of NDI or any IP is the sooner you can get it into that production format, the better. The closer to the glass, as people like to say. So the moment we kind of had that thought, it was then, well, that's great. Someone really should do this. Unfortunately, it was left to us. So for
Uh-huh.
better or for worse. Yeah. So that kind of was the embarkation of the journey, and it seemed like a really good idea that we thought, how long could it take? It should be 4-6 months we could get this thing out. As you mentioned, it is a significantly longer amount of time than that, but actually along that way we've put a lot more in, and it's become a much better product for that. So hopefully we can talk a bit more about that later on today. But so the idea of BirdDog came around relatively quickly, and then going through how we could actually implement that led to NAB last year, 2016, where we thought we'd test the market and see, are we crazy? Is the idea of an NDI style of camera back something interesting? And we were just blown away by the interest that we got from it. And then leading out from there was the last 12 months of getting it out to market, and a lot of emails of people asking, when can I have
Yes.
it?
Yes, you've been flamed quite a bit in our chat room over the last 12 months or so. I won't
I'll
share the
accept
names
it.
of anybody that's let's see, I see them in the chat room right now. They're probably going to have to apologize to you before the end of the show. So where did you come up with the idea for the name Bird Dog? I mean,
That's actually an interesting one, because we're trying to think of something that's memorable. If we just called it a NDI, I don't know, 2.3 or something, it's kind of forgettable, and it just becomes a thing. What we like is something that the people can just say, hey, you just need to grab a bird dog and do it. And that was kind of, we're looking for for something that's memorable. And then I was sort of hunting around for sidekick sort of analogies, and I came up with bird dog, which is a hunting term for if you have a dog that that helps you out. It's your sidekick, and it's called a bird dog. And the moment we came across that that kind of term, the logo just came into my mind, and yeah, that's where it came from. We had to have that logo.
That's awesome.
It's a little crazy, but it's good. Yeah.
Bird Dog is going to be NDI's best friend, no doubt. Yep.
I like that term. Yeah.
Yep. No, you heard it first here. Well, maybe you didn't, but so okay. So you've got this great box, and people can go. I've got some graphics here that we can cut to that show the bird dog, the inputs and the outputs. But you really need to go to Dan's website to get a closer look at all this kind of stuff. There's some amazing features in it. It's got tally lights built into it. It's got SDI in and out. It's got HDMI in and out. It'll take internet power over Ethernet. It's got a really cool box. I mean, if nothing else, gee whiz, these guys have not scrimped on anything here. But all right, so we've even got USB. I guess that's, well, I won't guess. Tell me about this bird dog. What's the most important thing I need to know? If I'm setting it up right now and I'm plugging in Ethernet, I'm plugging in a camera, what else do I have to do? Uh-oh, I think we've lost Dan. I think either the questions have shocked him into submission, or he was on his cell phone trying to get access. So we'll hang in there for a second and see if we can't get him back on the line. Just watch over there and let me know when he starts moving again. Oh, there he is. He's back. All right, Dan, can you hear me? Dan, can you hear me?
Hey, I'm back.
There he is. Okay, very good. Very good. All right, so I've got this bird dog, and tell me about it. What do I need to know if I'm gonna make this work in the next 10 minutes? What do I have to do? Because I can make it work in the next 10 minutes, right?
You can, absolutely.
Or
I've got
less.
one here as well, so we can kind of plug them together somehow. But essentially, the way it's designed to work is outside of the box, you literally just plug it in. It's see if we can get it close enough. It's power over Ethernet. So if you have that infrastructure in your building, it's simply a matter of just plugging in that one cord, and that gives you power. It turns the unit on. It pops up with a little light saying startup. And if you have a network that will automatically give an IP address or an address to a device, this thing will just automatically fire up. The moment you give it a video source, it's available for you to use on your vMix, on your TriCaster, on a Wirecast, whatever supports NDI. And it literally is that quick to do. You plug it in, it'll turn on. It takes around about 15 seconds to turn on, and you're good to go. It'll automatically detect what video rates you have, and it'll just present itself in. So it's designed really to be that true plug it in and use it, plug and play if you like. Just take it out of the box and you can use it straight away. And we spent quite a bit of time on that. We thought we could imagine a production in the middle of some disaster just going, we need another camera, how do we get that? And just grabbing a bird dog off the shelf, plugging it in and knowing that it's just going to come up. And it needs to be that similar to an SDI experience. You need to be able to just plug this thing in and use it. Otherwise it becomes something that's more heavily managed, which is not really what we want.
Now, I have a wireless Ethernet setup here. I'm going to try that with this before I send this back to Edward Ford, who loaned it to me. Thank you, Edward. Because this could become, you could get wireless NDI if you had enough. Well, the wireless will support it. It's not Wi-Fi. It's a portable radio of some kind. Anyway, that's off subject. So tell me. All right, tell me about now. This is NDI 2.0. I mean, this is full NDI, the new tech, full implementation of NDI. Correct?
Correct, yeah. So it's actually, it will be very shortly NDI 3.0 as well. And I think this maybe is something that's worth clarifying.
Please do.
NDI has multiple formats within it now. So with NDI 3.0, they announced a new format called NDI HX, but it also has some updates to NDI as we knew it before. So NDI version 2 and NDI version 1. So really with NDI, what we have now is an ecosystem that allows you to work in whatever infrastructure is available in your building. With BirdDog, we work with the high bitrate NDI format, which is what was in the NDI standard right from the beginning. So as of 2016, when NDI was first announced, it's a 100 megabits or so video stream that's designed to be really high quality and really low latency. And so we work within that format, and we support everything that is in version 2 or 2.0 of NDI. And we're actually starting to add in the 3.0 features. So they are things like multicast, there's network timing, and a whole bunch of other improvements that come along as well. But yeah, so the idea with BirdDog is it's a no compromise, high quality version of an NDI implementation. And we spent a long time, as everyone can attest to getting that right. And that's all about how we kind of process everything inside the box. There's a pretty smart goes in there that's been completely designed by us from the ground up, called an FPGA, that we've written everything to work with NDI in there from the ground up.
Uh-huh. FPGA, yeah. Okay, I got that. No problem.
Yeah.
I've been doing those for a while myself.
Yeah, they're easy things.
So, all right, going back to the marketing strategy that you guys used to create this giant demand for this product and then just simply say, no, you can't have it yet. I think that's brilliant. I think you guys are absolutely brilliant, because people are out there and it does nothing but create this buzz and create this hunger for the product. And, you know, they are going to be flying out of the B&H photos and you know, Amazons or wherever they're going to be available. I think it's going to be a smashing success. Now, if I want to get the whatever you guys implement of NDI 3.0 in here, it's just going to be a firmware upgrade?
Yeah, I was just about to bring that up. So the idea with this is what the unit does now. So you have one there that it'll create NDI video. It takes SDI or HDMI up to 1080 60p, and it makes NDI really fast and it works well. But we've got so much more planned for BirdDog, and that's all done by a firmware update. So there's a little web interface that you can use within the BirdDog that allows you to just download a file from our website and just add extra features and just get dropped into it straight away.
Uh-oh, we're having trouble with Dan. Those rascals down in Australia, what can I say? We had such a beautiful connection last night. It was just, I guess that's what it was last night for me. It was midday for him. That's what I get for getting him up so early in the morning. The squirrels in Australia haven't started generating the internet yet. I know how that is. And I guess one of the questions that I have for Dan when he gets back, and I see that Giles is asking the same thing, is will it implement NDI 3.0 fully? That is, will it have NDI Lite or NDI HX available in it? So we'll see when we get him back shortly. Bless his heart, he's burning up all his bandwidth in his phone. There he is. Dan's back.
I'm back. Sorry about that. Where did I get to with the firmware updates? Did we go? Should I start from the top with that?
You were, start at the top for that. Just let's go through it again.
Sure thing. So within the BirdDog, there's a little web interface that allows you to download a firmware update file, which basically creates a whole new BirdDog. It gives you more features and adds extra functionality. Some of those things that we'll be adding really soon are cross-converting. So within the box, we're able to take SDI and convert out to HDMI. So it's a mini converter built in. And vice versa. And we're also very shortly going to be announcing the decode NDI as well. So we're working on that at the moment. Hopefully sometime. We don't have an exact date for that, but the idea with this is it is a true camera back, so it will eventually have a return feed as well.
Really? Okay, well, obviously it's got some sort of return because it's got a tally light on it.
Yeah. And that's actually a cool thing as well. The tally, there's been a few questions about that when people are looking at BirdDog and NDI in general. Tally is automatically configured with NDI, and that's a really cool feature. If anyone's set up a production before and tried to integrate Tally, it can take as long as trying to get the video production in there, or the video feeds. So Tally just being zero configuration out of the box is great.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. Okay, so are you going to be able to put an intercom on this thing too?
That's a very good question, and I think we'll have some more announcements on that at IBC. So I can't say too much more, but there's definitely a headset connection there, and
I saw that.
Definitely some
Yeah.
news to come on that. So, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a full headset. That's not just a monitor. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
It
sharp
has
eyes
a
there.
little mic thing coming off there. Yeah, yeah. Oh wow. Okay. All right. So a couple questions from the chat room. We're going to save most of the questions for the post show, but and I was wondering this too. As you begin to implement NDI 3.0 features, are you going to implement the HX as well, the NDI Lite?
That's a good question. It's something we're exploring. NDI
Okay.
HX, as you know, is new, and for us, we do everything in hardware. It's not a software device. So if we were to implement HX, it would mean that we need to implement that into our hardware, which is no small feat. And as we can attest to over the last 12 months, trying to get this operational inside such a small compact box does take some time. So
Sure.
at this stage, we're sticking with NDI in its full bitrate or high bitrate format. And I think for a lot of productions, that actually makes a whole lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still absolutely a valid format, given the fact that NDI 3 absolutely supports it and actually defaults to the full bitrate unless you have a lower bandwidth connection.
Mm-hmm.
But look, over time, we're looking at what we can do with that. The box is flexible; we can reprogram what it can do. So
Right.
so we'll let people know what happens with that.
What about 4K?
4K. This box is a HD 1080 60p, so it's designed to work in that environment. 4K is obviously where everything's going. We just mentioned that about the new vMix, which supports 4K streaming, which is cool. With 4K, I think over time we'll definitely come out with a solution. But right now, to get to a price point that we think is pretty fair for what this thing does, to include 4K would have just tipped it over that sort of that level that people would have been comfortable with. And right now, I think 1080 60p is a really format.
I think that's great format. I mean, I can see this being used in sports all over the place. Holy cow. I've got to run one wire to my camera. And and that's it. And with this little
That's the idea.
weeny little headphone icon thingy right there, it becomes an incredible solution in one box. And it'll take a camera that's SDI or HDMI, plus it'll output to a monitor. Wow. And then it's got, what do they call this? The 820? What's the little threaded connection here on the bottom?
Yeah, it's got the quarter 20 threads.
Quarter 20,
so with those, that allows you to mount it onto a few things. It has some through holes that go on the front face as well. I'll see if I can bring it up there. So you can actually connect through there onto a cheese plate type arrangement. And also at IBC, we'll be showing a camera mounting solution which goes into a hot shoe as well.
All right,
So
whoa. Stop.
camera.
It's this Australian English stuff that you guys are using on us again. What is a cheese plate? Is that like
let's
a
go back
pegboard?
to the cheese plate. Kinda. So a cheese plate is it's sort of, once I explain it, it'll make a whole lot of sense. It's a bit of aluminum, as you say, which has a whole bunch of holes in it with threads.
No, stop again. Don't say aluminum as I say it. Say it as you say it. It's beautiful the way you say it. I can't say it that way.
Aluminium. It's got an extra I.
Yes. All right. So we take a piece of that.
It's an aluminium plate that's got a piece of cheese plate, and that allows you to connect different devices that have got different thread spacing onto a camera. So it's a really handy way to mount different things onto a camera without having to have too many magic arms and things hanging off all over the place. So you can use one of those, or we'll also be showing a camera hot shoe mount as well at IBC. So that allows you to mount it horizontally on the front of your camera, and it'll give you exactly just like that. Yep.
Gotcha.
So there's a solution for that too.
Okay. Yeah, I could see where that would have happen pretty easily. I've got a buddy named RJ Murdoch that does all sorts of things. He'll take a piece of what we call pegboard here in the US. It's a piece of board, has lots of tiny holes in it, and he'll strap everything to a piece of pegboard and pre-wire it, and then just throw the pegboard in his case, bring it out and plug everything in, and it makes putting it together just so much easier. Yeah. In fact, he's actually doing some camera work for the Weather Channel over in Houston for the big flood that we've got in Texas right now.
You've had some big weather there.
Oh yeah. So they say it's 3 times as bad as Katrina, which was the worst thing that anybody had ever seen 10 or 15 years ago. Okay, so tell me, if I want to buy one of these today, and you're in Australia, how are you going to send it to me? Or do you have people in the U.S. that sell these?
We know people.
You know people.
Yeah. So as far as shipping, you've got one there. I've got one here. There's a bunch of them out there, but we're just cooling up at the moment. So if you walk into your local video retailer, you're not going to find them on the shelf just yet.
Okay.
They're really close. As in very, very close. We have distribution. So you mentioned some of the kind of regular outlets like B&H and places like that. But right now, Broadfield are our distributor. So so Broadfield based out of New York as well.
Okay, so if you're a reseller like me and you're interested in putting this into your lineup, you would contact Broadfield to add it to your lineup.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good deal. Awesome. Outstanding. Well, I've played with this just a little bit. I didn't want to play with it too much until I got you on. But I can't wait. Oh, it's got USB on it. What's the USB for?
Yeah. So USB is for a few things. The first thing we have is actually for PTZ control. So it allows you to plug a USB to Ethernet adapter in there. And that gives you a second network port. So much like we have the Ethernet going into BirdDog, which allows you to power the device and run everything through that one cable, wouldn't it be great if you could plug one other device into that network cable too? And that's where we've got that USB port there for. So that converts it to another Ethernet connection. So you can go to a PTZ or some other camera that requires a network connection to be able to see it. And then that becomes available on your network like it was directly plugged in. So it allows you to plug an extra thing in just through that one cable.
Okay, so I'm taking my PTZ camera, I'm taking the network connection on that, I'm plugging it into a USB network adapter right here. And then the network adapter right
Everything
here.
goes down the one cable.
Everything goes down that wire.
You got it.
That is so cool. That you guys have thought of everything. This is amazing.
We also try to, we've also checked it out. You can stream NDI down there as well. So if you had 2 networks, for example, that you wanted to receive the signal from a bird dog, one could go down the built-in Ethernet, the other one could go down through that USB adapter.
Of course. Oh, that's awesome. And this is not a cheap plastic box either, though. This is heavy duty stuff. I mean, I could probably drop this onto concrete if it didn't belong to Edward, and it would.
That's what we kind of imagine. Basically, with it, we want people to be able to use it like a bit of production gear. If it happens to get dropped, things happen, and that was really where that design with the SDI cables inset is that you're not going to land on those SDI cables if you do happen to drop it. We kind of we surmise that you could probably drive over it with a car. We haven't tried it yet because I think people want every bird dog we could use, and please don't try it at home. But
it's not mine. Edward's in the chat going, no. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. All right. What else? What else? What else?
What else? Look, I think from here it's really about just expanding some of the features and functions of it. So What we have talked about is fleet management. So the ability to control multiple bird dogs on a network, because right now you log into each web interface and you can mess around with it and give it a name and update firmware and do whatever you'd like to do with the configuration. What we're wanting to do is actually have profiles that you can save on a computer, push it out to a flock, I suppose, of bird dogs. So if you've got multiple cameras in a production, that maybe the morning show, its faces are called by the camera guys, but the after something. So it might be Cam one day, it might be Bob the next, or whatever. And we want to be able to load up a whole profile for a studio just by pressing one button.
Awesome.
And you'll see some software coming for that. And we've got a whole bunch of other surprises as well. Like I said, there's a lot that this thing can do, and we've really designed it to keep adding more things as it goes along.
So I buy one of these today, and it's like a present that I get that just keeps on giving. I get all these new features for free.
Yeah. So all that stuff that we've been talking about is free. Yeah.
Amazing. Edward, I am
for the small
not
price
sending
of a
this
bird
back.
dog, so.
Yeah, for the small price of a bird dog. That's an amazing commitment. That is an amazing commitment. So it's going to be a flock of bird dogs and not a pack of bird dogs?
Maybe we'll put it out to the chat group. We can decide that today.
Yeah, that's right. Got to get this stuff figured. Sometimes terminology is the hardest part. Well, not really. You guys already know what the hardest part is, and that is doing what you've done. Dan, this is just amazing. This is amazing. I held one in my hand at NAB this year when I was out there at NAB with the vMix guys. Somewhere Tim had gotten a hold of one, I guess from you maybe, and brought it over, and they said it was a prototype. And I was so impressed, but I wasn't allowed to use it because it needed a firmware update. But I'm using this sucker. Yes, indeed.
It works. Yep.
Wow. Loving it. Loving it. And it looks like I can take it apart too. Oh, this is good. This is good. All right.
Just pull the important bits out and send it back.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's a lot lighter coming back than it was going out. That's right. All right. Well, Dan, let's wrap up the show, and then we'll go to the post show and we'll let the guys pepper you with questions. But what else can you share about this or about Bird Dog that we need to know?
Sure. I think probably the biggest thing is Bird Dog is a brand, and Studio NDI is the product. So that gives you some clues that we're not done with just making our product. We've got some other cool stuff coming out as well. So
this is the Studio NDI.
Correct. Yep.
Yes. Here it says it right there. Bird Dog Studio NDI. Got it. All right. So that means there's more to come. I love this.
There is more to come. Yes.
This is so exciting. Oh, this is so great. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
okay.
we love IP and we love NDI, and I think there's NDI as a format has got a lot of legs to come, and we want to be part of that.
And you guys are the first one to the party like this. I mean, you're even there before New Tech is. That's amazing. I love it. What's your website?
We've had a lot of help from New Tech, I should say. So I deal with I talk with Andrew Cross very very regularly, and they've been really supportive of us getting this working.
Yeah, Andrew doesn't return my calls, so next time you talk to him, tell him call Tom Sinclair. Quit ignoring him.
I will. I'll let him know. Yeah.
I'm looking for your website here on this box, and I don't see it. What is your website? What's your URL?
So it's bird-dog.tv.
Bird-dog.tv. Yeah. Maybe I'm an idiot, but I don't see it. That's an improvement. I need to put the website on there somewhere. Well, and by the way, this is green in real life. And that's green in real life. It's not really blue. How about that? Okay. All right. Dan, you are a real champ. Thank you so much for getting up early and for being peppered with such absurd questions, but talking about such a great product as the Bird Dog Studio NDI. This is a home run. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you've enjoyed the trip so far, and now you can sit back and accept some of the rewards for it. So,
Thank you. It has been great, and the support that I've had from, or we've had from people, has been amazing as well. And I know there's been some frustration and some doubts as to whether we would actually get there. And look, we've been working on it the whole time, and we never had a doubt ourselves. But thanks for sticking with us, everybody, and not just looking the other way.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, folks.
In new news, the internet's just come back on in the office as well. So.
All right. Well, we're going to transition over to the post show. So if you guys are watching us on YouTube after the fact, and you're watching just the show, and you want to see the post show, go to our other YouTube video for the same date, because that's going to have the post show in it. It'll be really worthwhile. And if you've been watching us on YouTube directly, or Twitter, or Facebook, or Periscope, come on over to easternshorebroadcasting.com. There's Eastern Shore Broadcasting, and just add a .com to it, so that you can get in on the chat and pepper Dan with all those crazy questions that you've always wanted to ask. Like, is it a pack of bird dogs? Is it a flock of bird dogs? Whatever. All right, Dan, we're going to go to the post show, but we're going to close out this, if I can find the right closeout button. Dan, thanks so much. Everybody watching live,
thanks very much, Tom.
If you're watching us on YouTube, subscribe. If you watched this long, you may as well subscribe. You're obviously hooked. We'll see you later.